So I have built a fair amount of zoos in my day, but each time it has been a pretty peaceful and relaxing experience. Now, this time around, we will be dropped in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, and these lovely guys have raided the local stores for sunscreen, so they no longer burn in the sun. On top of that, they sometimes gang up to carry out surprise attacks, so as we'll be playing in hardcore, things might get a bit stressful. In this video, we won't only be surviving the zombie apocalypse, because I'm planning on building an awesome zoo for all the wild animals we can find. So yeah, we've got 2 big challenges ahead of us, and I have a feeling the next 100 days will be quite tricky. By the way, I have decided to upgrade my merch, so we have an adorable brand new design made by the artist Monse. She is so talented, so if any of you guys want to contact her or check out her page, I will put her Instagram in the description below. So you can get some cute Tootsie t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, etc. to support the channel, and I will put the website link in the description below. Well, we have spawned in a very cozy biome, and what is this? There's like a baby zombie on a horse. Okay, that's quite nice. Yeah, thankfully he's not going very fast, so we should be safe for the moment. Yeah, I'm gonna try grabbing some wood before this guy gets to me. It feels a bit like being in The Walking Dead, because they're like super slow. But yeah, I expect if they start ganging up, it's not gonna be as fun. Okay, we've got a second guy right here. Oh, and another rider. Yeah, I'm probably gonna start being a bit careful here. So first, let's craft a crafting table. Okay, I'm gonna cross. Oh no. There's another one here. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Oh no, no, no. Wait. It seems like they're a bit stuck underwater. So I guess I can use that as a defense for my base later on. Oh. Oh wow. There are so many guys on zombie horses. Oh my god. Okay, I was not paying attention. Wait, I'm just gonna kill this guy because... Oh my god, there's 2. This is harder than I thought. Wait, I'm just gonna lure them in the water. So I'd like us to grab some stone. There are so many of these guys. Come on. Wow. Hello there. Okay, so I'm quickly gonna craft an axe. And I really need to get some food as well. No, 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 no. Get away from me. Oh, they're so annoying. I guess I can just eat their flesh as well. So I'm gonna grab this melon. Yeah, I'm actually gonna craft a boat because we're not gonna be safe on land when the night comes. Wait. What's that? Mine, mine, mine. This is perfect. We've got a jungle village. So it's probably going to be overrun by zombies. Yeah, we're going to have to be fairly careful here. Oh, and I will put on these boots. They don't really protect me much, but it's better than nothing. It seems pretty safe for the moment. And we've got a 9 golems, so... Hey, did he steal something from me? I can't believe this. We're gonna borrow this bed because nights around here are not very fun. And let's maybe loot the chests. Okay, they've got nothing. Wow. You are not very generous villagers, are you? But I will steal all the crops, and they've got potatoes. This is great. Yeah, now that I've got potatoes, I feel like this zombie apocalypse won't be so difficult. Don't bother the villagers, please. Look, he's scared of you, poor thing. Yeah, I mean, this village seems fairly safe from zombies. So I guess we'll put a bunch of these fences at the base. I might start collecting a few. Oops, sorry. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, I need to be careful. Where's the golem? Oh no, he doesn't care. Yeah, I might actually go kill the guy because I need the iron. But I feel he would be a great help if there's like a zombie ambush. Yeah, 1 zombie at the time is fine. Like, even if I don't have much armor or anything, it's not too bad. I decided to spend the afternoon collecting loads of crops, and I also got a bit of bamboo. So it seems like they have a rooftop animal pen, which is quite nice. Do you know what, guys? I'm actually just gonna leave you be. Yeah, you've got a really nice view here. I don't want to ruin everything. We've got a fair few villagers around here, so I guess we'll be able to do some trading later on. I need to help this guy quickly. Someone is trying to annoy him. Yeah, you're welcome, mister. Okay, there's another one here. Excuse me, mister. Oh no! This zombie killed some of the villagers. Aww. It's really annoying. Yeah, I've decided I'm gonna kill the iron golem because I really need to craft myself a shield. Like, if I get ambushed by 2 baby zombies, I'm just never gonna survive. Yeah, all the villagers are getting killed, so I think I'm gonna leave the village tomorrow. But first, I'm gonna gather up a bunch of fences for my base. Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. There's babies. There's an ambush. Okay, well, I feel it's high time we leave this village. That was a bit scary. So yeah, we're off to find somewhere with a bit less trees so that I can see better when zombies are coming. We might get these chickens for making arrows. Again! Oh my god! Like so many zombies. Oh, this is so freaky. Oh no. I wanted to get the chickens, but I think I'll come back later. Oh, what's this? Is that like a Komodo dragon? Okay, we'll come back later on, but it seems we also have a couple sea lions, so I'm quickly gonna say hi. Hello, guys. Oh no! Oh no! So sorry. Okay, maybe this wasn't a good idea. Whoopsie. Oh no, I scared everyone. Okay, that guy doesn't seem too scared, so we might stop by here. Let's see if the area is safe. Oh. And we've got some cows. So what I'm gonna do is make a safety fence around here with some torches to prevent zombies from spawning too close. So inside of here, I'm actually gonna bring in all the cows to start breeding them. Yeah, it seems like the fence is a good idea. So later on, to defend the zoo and the base, we'll be able to use some barbed wire and some wire fences, which will inflict damage on the zombies. Now, I actually need some carpets to get over the fence quickly, so I will go back to the village to get a sheep or two, even though I originally said I would leave them alone. Yeah, I guess it's safe now to see the animals, and promise I'll do my best not to accidentally hit you again. Oh no! Whoopsie. What is that about? Yeah, I'm not gonna get too close to them because they might attack me. Are they like slow dancing? I know mobs often like to break dance in Minecraft, but I admit I've never seen this before. Oh, and we've got some anteaters as well. So we've got quite a few animals over here for the zoo. I'm hoping most of the zombies despawned, but there's still a few here. So fingers crossed. Do you know what? I'm gonna free this poor horse from this annoying rider. There. You're free, mister. Yeah, I might come back to get this horse once I have a saddle or a lead if he doesn't despawn. And in my last video, I had asked you guys to tell me about your pets so that I can name my Minecraft animals after them. One of you guys told me you had 7 pet rats, so I'm gonna name this zombie horse Bean after one of them. So yeah, Mr. Bean, don't wander off too far. Really sorry, guys. There, you can be free. Okay, let's quickly get back home before we get ambushed again. So I placed a carpet on each side because in case we get another zombie ambush and like a couple spawn inside, I'd like to be able to make a quick getaway. So I feel carpets are a bit better than fence gates. And of course, let's put one here for getting in the cow pen. So today I'd like to start making a little farm down by the riverbank. Yeah, I'm planning on having potatoes as my main source of food, but first I need to grow a couple more. I'm also making this little staircase so that we can get up and down to the farm easily. So today it's high time to start a mine because I really need to start getting some iron for making armor and better tools. Now, do any of you guys know where the myth of zombies originally comes from? The concept of reanimated corpses traces back to ancient folklore from various cultures worldwide. In Haitian folklore, for example, the belief in zombies originated from the practices of voodoo priests who were said to have the power to control the dead and bring them back to life. On the other hand, the modern fictional zombie was largely developed by the works of American filmmaker George A. Romero. Back at the surface, I put all the iron I got to smelt and crafted my first iron pickaxe. I fed some wheat to the cows and went back to craft an iron axe when suddenly there was another zombie ambush. Well, I am very glad I made this fence. Yeah, it's a bit easier to get rid of all these guys when I don't have to stress. There are so many. But yeah, finally we've got a bit more armor on. So I'm gonna head back down to collect all the remaining iron in that cave, and then we might go explore the worlds a bit further. It seems like the fly does damage to the zombie, which is quite helpful. Thank you, little fly. So I guess we've got a friend for Bean, and we're gonna name this guy Henry. And I know what you're gonna tell me if you've been following my videos for a while. I often name my pets Henry, but I'm planning on having facts on historical figures. So this guy is actually named after Henry VIII. So as we now have a full iron armor, I think we're ready to go explore the world a bit. But first, I'm quickly gonna harvest all the crops. Oh, and there's this random gorilla in the water. What are you doing here, missus? Yeah, we'll definitely come back to get her out once I start building the zoo. And I will collect a bit of sugarcane so that we can maybe get to enchanting at some point. So I'd like to find a biome that isn't a jungle so that we can maybe spot some new animals. Oh, well, look at that. There's a little tiger right here. So I'm not going to approach him too much because I don't know if they're aggressive, but we will come back to get him for the zoo. Oh, hello guys. We've got a couple capuchin monkeys. Is that like a dead coral reef or something? It actually looks pretty nice, but a bit spooky as well. Oh, and we actually have some live corals over here. So I'll probably come back here once I'm decorating the animal enclosures. So there's a mangrove swamp over here, but I'm not sure if slimes spawn. I'd like to get slime balls for making leads, but in the worst case, I can take the leads from the wandering trader. This will probably be a very scary night. Yeah, there's already zombies spawning, so I need to get inside the mangrove swamp to have a look if I can spot any slimes. I mean, if I can lure most of them in the water, it should be good. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. There's a slime. Oh my god, perfect. Okay, I need to get him quickly, and then we're out of here. Okay, that's it. Oh, okay. What are these? Hope they're not aggressive. Now, I guess we just need to find a place to sleep. And I think in the water is the best place. Now, it's great. We've got some slime balls, but I just remembered we don't have any string. Wait, what was that about? Oh, these guys are killing the fish. I think for getting string, I need to find like a jungle temple. So I'll explore the jungle biomes on the way back. We've got quite an impressive mountain here with the savanna biome behind. And I think first we're gonna loot this shipwreck. And we also have these structures, so we're gonna be getting quite a bit of loot here. Okay, so we've got some moss, extra coal. It would be great if I could find some bones or some string in one of these chests because it's gonna be hard to get these items as spiders and skeletons don't spawn naturally. So we've got a treasure map. The treasure isn't that far actually. So let's go find it. Okay, we've got a fair bit of loot here. Oh, look at that. We've got some elephants around here. Hello there, Mr. Elephant. Okay, he doesn't want to talk to us. Yeah, I'm not sure how we're gonna get them back to the zoo. They're so huge. Okay, I'm gonna free you from the rider. You're welcome. Now, let's loot these little things. Oh, we've got a fishing rod. Okay, we've got another treasure. Yeah, are you guys guarding the treasure or something? Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but you're not guarding it very well. I really don't think these guys are very scary. What are you doing, mister? No, no, no. I feel like these guys steal some of my stuff. Hey, he stole my melon. Oh, you naughty little thing. Yeah, I took the TNT just in case we need to explode a bunch of zombies. It could always come in handy. So I actually have an animal dictionary and I can click on the mobs and just learn a bit more about them. So for example, here we've got... Oh, I thought she was gonna attack me as she has a baby. Oh, I wonder... Like, can I maybe hatch one with the egg? It can be cooked, but we're not going to do that. Yeah, they don't say that you can hatch them by throwing the egg, but I'm still going to keep it just in case we can hatch a baby emu. Now, these guys I've been wanting to see. So basically, you can feed carrots to kangaroos to tame them. And as I've got some, let's go ahead and tame one. And there we go. We've got a pet kangaroo. So I'm going to name this girl Elizabeth after Elizabeth I. And you know what? I'm going to tame a second one, and you're gonna be Mary after Mary, Queen of Scots. So if you guys don't know much about these two queens, let's quickly learn a bit more about them. So Elizabeth I was Queen of England and Ireland from 1558 until her death in 1603. Her eventful reign and its effect on history and culture gave name to the Elizabethan era. She was the only surviving child of Henry VIII and his second wife, Anne Boleyn. When Elizabeth was only 2 years old, her parents' marriage was annulled, and her mother was executed under the orders of her father, who accused Anne of adultery. These events marked Elizabeth because she never married nor had any children, and instead pledged her body to England. On the other hand, Mary, Queen of Scots, was born Mary Stuart, and she became Queen of Scotland when she was just 6 days old. She was then married to a French heir and became Queen of France when she was just 16, although she was widowed by age 18. Mary was as reckless and impulsive as Elizabeth was shrewd and careful, and she made a number of disastrous decisions, entangling herself in scandal and political intrigue. Mary was Elizabeth's main rival for the throne, and at the time, people had a fondness for executing those who stood in their way, but as Elizabeth's own mother had been eliminated in such a way, she didn't want to see another fellow queen condemned to death. Mary was instead placed on house arrest, but she was soon proved to be part of a plot to overthrow the Queen of England, so Elizabeth had no choice but to finally execute her in 1587. By the way, the very first Queen of England was also called Mary, and she was in fact Elizabeth's older sister. So yeah, we need to be careful not to get the two Marys mixed up. But yeah, don't worry, Kangaroo Elizabeth and Mary won't have such complicated problems. And look at that, guys. I have found this huge, adorable rhino. I love when he shakes his head because his ears just wiggle around. It's a bit like the Minecraft camel. One of my favorite parts of having pet kangaroos has to be how they destroy zombies. I mean, the kickboxing level of these guys is out of this world. So I came across these raccoons, but also these little animals, and I admit I forgot the name in English, but in French they're called la moufette, which to be fair is a funny name. Hello guys. Okay, so I looked it up and it's a skunk. I mean, I did of course know that word, but I just couldn't remember in the moment. So yeah, we've got another skunk here, but we have found an acacia village. Now, as my inventory is full, I'm actually gonna get Mary and Elizabeth to hold on to some stuff for me. Time to raid. Oh, yeah, I'm actually gonna get these guys to stay so that I don't accidentally hit them. But yeah, we've got quite a bit of wheat here. So yeah, let's get raiding this village. Now, just a quick disclaimer for the facts I share in my videos. I am not a historian, so it's possible I sometimes make a couple mistakes, but I try to make the facts as accurate as possible. And as adding facts in my videos has to be one of my favorite things to do, I'm not going to prevent myself from sharing some. So to get back on Henry VIII, he was King of England from 1509 until his death in 1547. He is known for his 6 marriages and his efforts to have his first marriage to Catherine of Aragon annulled. His disagreement with Pope Clement VII about such an annulment led Henry to initiate the English Reformation, separating the Church of England from papal authority. Henry was obsessed with having a legitimate male heir, but little did he know that one of his daughters would become one of the 3 most influential queens of England. And to this day, we all know that women have constantly been underestimated throughout history. Okay, I love this place. There's like a little vendor and he's got some cake. Am I a sweet tooth? Not at all. Wow, this is perfect. This guy has a bow. I was wondering when I was gonna get one because skeletons don't spawn naturally as it's a zombie apocalypse. And I see they've got some potatoes. Wow, this feels illegal. We've got 3 diamonds. And I'm gonna grab these bookshelves so that we can start enchanting soon. And we've got some more potatoes. Now, before we go, I'd like to tame one of the village cats, so we're gonna do a bit of fishing. Yeah, I might sit down Mary though, because she's a bit in the way. So I'm gonna try taming this little white and black cat here. I'm just hoping this guy won't fall on us. Okay, so I'm blocking up the door. There he is. We got him with like 1 fish, so this is really cool. And we're gonna name him Thimble because someone in the comments told me that they have a black and white cat by that name that is sick. So I'd like this poor kitty to live on in one of my videos. Okay, Mr. Thimble, let's go meet your kangaroo sisters. So girls, here is the newest addition to the family. So I know there's still loads of stuff to collect, but my inventory is full and we can just come back later on to get some more stuff. Wait. Where is Thimble? Oh, there he is. Okay, you scared me. Come on, kids. Yeah, I really love Minecraft animals. Like, they really keep you company while you're playing. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my god. Wow, I was not expecting that guy. And hello, Mr. Bear. Now today, it's finally time to get back home. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps out. And these projects are very long to make, so it means a lot when you guys show your support. Yeah, Thimble has given me a very nice little present. Thank you very much, mister. Now I think I forgot a chest in here, so let's have a look. Okay, yeah, I did. We have a little issue because the girls can't teleport over the ocean and I don't have a lead, so I'm just gonna tell them to stay here for the moment and I'll come back with a lead. But of course, we can bring home Thimble. Look what I've just spotted. We've got a jungle temple, so I'm quickly gonna sleep first. Oh wow, thank you very much. String is exactly what I need right now. So I'm gonna put some stuff I don't urgently need in this chest, and let's go loot the temple. Now, I admit I kind of forgot how the traps work, so I'm just gonna dig everything up. Okay, so we've got a saddle and some bones in here. Yeah, I might come back for this later on, but I don't actually know what it is. Okay, so we've got some string here, and I'm also gonna grab all the arrows. So I now have enough string for making some leads, so I'm first gonna drop off all my stuff at the base, and then we'll head back to get Mary and Elizabeth. But yeah, I've got to say, this has been a fairly successful journey. And before we go back, let's get Mr. Thimble safe in the base. So I'm gonna cook these potatoes because I'm getting a bit fed up of melon slices. Yeah, it seems we've got another zombie ambush, but don't worry, you'll be safe where you are. Wait, I'm actually gonna craft some barbed wire to test it out on these guys. Yeah, as you can see, this is fairly effective. Oops. Whoa, no. Yeah, I was kind of hurting myself there. I need to be careful. Oh my god. This does a lot of damage. Now I'm gonna make the most of this boring trip across the ocean to explain why Tootsie loves potatoes so much. So if you don't know it already, I am half French, half Irish. So Ireland has a very wet and cold climate, making it hard to grow a large variety of crops. In the 17th century, the potato crop was brought back to Europe from South America, and the Irish were the first to embrace it as a staple food during the 18th century. The potato crop was very nourishing and easy to grow, and it suited the Irish soil, climate, and living conditions remarkably well. Some of you guys probably went over this in school, but in 1845 began a huge famine in Ireland. The potato crop, upon which a third of Ireland's population was dependent for food, was infected by a disease, destroying the crop. A huge portion of the Irish population perished, and many emigrated to North America and Australia to escape the famine. This is why we find so many Irish descendants in America, and for example, one of them was the president, John F. Kennedy. On day 19, I arrived back home with the kangaroos, and I think I took a break and forgot to record the evening, but no worries, I didn't do much anyway, and I realized really quickly that I wasn't recording. The next morning, I brought Henry VIII in with the cows, and then I set off back to the village to get Mr. Bean, and it was quite funny because zombie horses don't float, so Bean was just snorkeling underwater behind me. I presented Bean to Henry, and they got along really well. That afternoon, I went farming for a bit, and then I decided I would chop down a couple trees for wood, but also to start clearing the area for the future zoo and starter base. Now, while we're digging up the area to be able to build the base on a flat surface, let's talk a bit about two famous French monarchs whose lives didn't have the best of endings. I am of course talking about Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, and I think I might do part of the fact in French, with subtitles of course, so that you guys can understand. Marie Antoinette est née le 2 novembre 1755 à Vienne en Autriche. Elle devient dauphine de France en 1770 par son mariage avec le dauphin Louis-Auguste de France, né le 23 août 1754. Marie-Antoinette devient reine de France en 1774, lorsque son époux Louis XVI monte sur le trône. Malheureusement, elle perd en popularité en raison d'accusations de sympathie avec les ennemis de la France, en particulier avec l'Autriche, et de l'affaire du collier, dans laquelle elle n'était même pas impliquée. De plus, la population française est très misogyne, accusant Marie-Antoinette pour la faiblesse de Louis XVI. A big example of misogyny in France are the old medieval medieval laws that prohibited women from ruling and from the royal house being traced through the female line. On the contrary, in the United Kingdom, no laws prohibited women from ruling, enabling several great queens to come to power. And now for the sad fate of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. In 1789, the French Revolution broke out, marked by La Prise de la Bastille on the 14th of July. This was a period of political and societal change, the key moments being Le Serment du Jeu de Paume on the 20th of June 1789, where the deputies swore not to separate until they had established a constitution, and on the 26th of August, the Declaration of Human and Civil Rights was adopted. On the 10th of August 1782, the French population stormed the Tuileries Palace, where Louis, Marie Antoinette, and their children had taken refuge. Louis was put on trial and executed on the 21st of January 1793 with the well-renowned guillotine. And poor Marie Antoinette received the same fate on the 16th of October the same year, although the proceedings were highly political, more a public spectacle than a fair trial. So I wanted to get two more animals to name them after Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, but when I approached this Komodo dragon, he attacked me and I almost lost all my hearts. I resolved to bringing back two anteaters, being careful not to approach the angry lizard. So of course, these guys will be Louis and Antoinette. I continued excavating all the excess dirt, but I got interrupted by a surprise zombie attack that I handled in a relaxed and stress-free manner if you look at how my mouse doesn't move at all. And right after that, I got yet another attack that I handled fairly well thanks to the barbed wire I had placed, only to have a third attack on top of that. I mean, the zombies today are really hectic. I actually got another zombie horse because it had spawned with a rider in the cow enclosure, so we'll name this young chap Napoleon. So as we've still got a fair bit of terraforming to do, let's learn a bit about the newest member of the Tootsie zombie apocalypse gang. Napoleon Bonaparte was born in Corsica on the 15th of August 1769. He was a French general and statesman who rose to prominence during the French Revolution and led a series of military campaigns across Europe during the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars from 1796 to 1815. He led the French Republic as first consul from 1799 to 1804, then ruled the French Empire as Emperor of the French from 1804 to 1814, and briefly again in 1815. The Treaty of Fontainebleau ended Napoleon's rule as Emperor of the French and sent him into exile on Elba, an island off the coast of Italy. Napoleon managed to escape and landed in Golfe-Juan in the south of France with 1,000 men and marched on Paris, taking control of the country once again. He finally was defeated at the Battle of Waterloo in June 1815. This time, Napoleon was sent to Saint Helena, an island off the west coast of Africa, to be sure he would never come back to France. Indeed, he never did, and he died there on the 5th of May, 1821. Napoleon is considered one of the greatest military commanders in history, and Napoleonic tactics are still studied at military schools worldwide. I took Napoleon out with me to chop down a couple jungle trees because I'm planning on building a large jungle wall around my starter house for extra protection from zombies. So I'm basically tracing out a large circle, and I will of course make it 2 blocks high so that the zombies can't climb over it. I took Thimble, Mary, and Elizabeth out of the fenced up area so that I could finish up the wall, and then I added a bunch of barbed wire on the outside to kill off the zombies that wander too close to the base. I extended Louis and Antoinette's pen so that they had a bit more space while they waited for their real zoo enclosure to be built. As we're in a zombie apocalypse, I first have to focus on being well protected against the zombies before being able to fully focus on building the zoo. While adding detail to the wall, I accidentally fell in the barbed wire, and oh my, does it hurt. I can't believe I almost died because of that, so from now on I need to be more careful. Clumsy Tootsie cannot afford to make mistakes like that. I got this smart idea of removing the remaining barbed wire that was inside the base, and I continued adding slabs and trapdoors on the wall to add different levels. I used some dirt to mark out where the future house will be, and to my great delight, I was able to hatch one of the emu eggs, so let me present to you the adorable Martin. named after Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, this little guy is so adorable. Just look at him. The lower part of the house will be out of stone bricks, so we need to go collect some more stone. I've used up most of my iron for making the barbed wire, so we need to head back down to the cave to collect some more. While looking for iron, I came across this geode, so I decided I would mine some of the calcite to use for making the upper walls of the house. Once I had enough, I went back mining a whole load of stone, and now let's have a quick fact while we start the construction. Martin Luther King Jr. was a leader of the American Civil Rights Movement. He organized a number of peaceful protests, and he delivered the famous speech, "I Have a Dream," in 1963 that called for civil and economic rights, as well as an end to legalized racism in the United States. I of course have to mention Rosa Parks, who is an emblematic figure in the fight against racial segregation, because in 1955, she refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on the bus and was arrested by the police. I know I've been giving a lot of dates in this video, but if there is one you should definitely remember, it's 1964, which marks the end of segregation in the United States. Now, for building the upper part, I'd like to use some dark oak, so we're gonna take Napoleon with us on our mission in case any surprise zombies appear. We arrived in the spooky biome from the beginning, and these annoying seagulls stole my potatoes. So trust me, I was very angry because no one should dare steal Tootsie's potatoes. Napoleon and I were minding our own business when suddenly we were ambushed once again. So it was time for a bit of zombie hunting. These two little flies actually helped me get rid of the dead, so I admit I don't really like flies, but in Minecraft they're pretty cool. I was starting to chop down some dark oak when another zombie army came out of nowhere, so I jumped on Napoleon's back, and I've noticed I get jump scared so bad by these guys every single time. Like, they just appear so suddenly, and the noise is really scary when it just breaks the silence without warning. This time around, I couldn't bother fighting them, so we just galloped off. The next day, I was finally able to collect some wood without being bothered too much by zombies, and just to quickly get back to the flies. We might find them annoying, buzzing around and crawling all over our food, but few of us realize it. Without flies and other decomposers, we'd be up to our eyeballs in poo and dead bodies, and believe it or not, they are also great pollinators, just like bees. Once I'd collected 4 dark oak saplings, we carefully started making our way back. This annoying seagull flew down on me again, but this time I had had enough, so I punched him in the beak, and I felt a bit bad about it, but they had crossed the potato line. I got Mr. Napoleon on a lead and into the water, and we safely made it back home. I bone mealed the dark oak saplings to stock up on wood, and I also noticed that Martin was all grown up, and he had become a very handsome young man. That evening, I went up to the second floor of the house and started making some dark oak beams. I then placed down a stone brick floor and made this cute little entrance with fences and trapdoors. On the side here, we will have the entrance to the mine with a little staircase going down, and for the roof we can use dark oak slabs. I made a ladder to get up and finished off the second floor. There was another zombie attack that afternoon, but the barbed wire took care of most of them, and I finished a couple with my axe. I hatched one of Martin's eggs, and I think it would be fitting to name the baby Rosa. And no, Rosa Parks is not actually Martin's daughter, but after all, they aren't emus either. I chopped down some more dark oak logs and got jump scared literally for the millionth time in this world. I changed up the entrance to the other side of the wall as the starter house was now blocking the original one, and now let's focus on finishing up the house with some music. Okay, so here is the starter house all done, and I feel the base is a little bit more secure now, so I think it's high time to start bringing back some more animals. So first, let's bring Louis and Antoinette inside. Yeah, I feel it'll be a bit better for them to have a bit more space, and also they can meet their new friends. And now we're gonna make our way across the ocean to get some of the animals we had found. So I know we can bring back the gazelles with a lead, and also the sea lions, but the big question is, can we bring back the elephants? So I've made a couple friends here, but as they're in the water, I can just make my way over to the elephants. Oh my god, they're stealing all my potatoes. Let's see. Okay, we can bring them back on a lead. I'm not gonna waste too much time because we've got some zombies here. Oh, and the wandering trader has spawned as well. I mean, there are so many things happening at the same time here. No, 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 no. Not again. Oh, I can't believe this. There's like 100 zombies here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm maybe gonna bring back the elephants first, and then we'll come back to get the gazelles and the leads from the wandering trader. Yeah, we've got some breakdancing elephants here. So we finally made it back with the elephants. Now I'm gonna try to get them in. Oh dear, they're a bit too big. Oh no. Wow, these guys do take up a lot of space. Let's quickly head back to get the leads. Oh, and I need to remember to save this girl as well. To be honest, I feel a bit bad because this guy survived the zombies and then I'm just coming back to kill him. I'm sorry, mister. As we now have 4 leads, I could bring back 2 gazelles, but I'm also gonna have a look for some rhinos. Oh, and we've got an adorable baby elephant here. Okay, so we're gonna take this guy with us. And does he have a friend? Oh, I think we'll just bring this guy back. And for the names, someone wanted me to name some animals after his 2 little brothers. So we've got Jesse and Jonathan. Now I'm just wondering, will Jonathan eat the gazelles if I take them at the same time? Let's see. Oh wow. What happened here? Why did you attack me, Jesse? Okay, I'm just gonna grab a second gazelle and we're off because things are getting a bit weird. Now for naming the gazelles, a subscriber from Poland has a 3-legged cat called Kalina. So I guess this girl will be Kalina and her friend will be Lucy. Oh my goodness, Jesse is gonna kill me, guys. I mean, if we lose the world just because I was bringing back Jesse, it's gonna be a bit complicated. Yeah, I feel like every time I bump into him, he gets a bit angry, so I'm gonna have to be super careful from now on. Okay, so we have made it back, but I'm gonna leave Mr. Jesse here because I don't really want to die right now. And then let's release Lucy and Kalina so that we can put Jonathan in here in case he wants to attack them. Oh, and by the way, Jonathan is a maned wolf. Oh dear, the elephants ate all my leaves, so I think we'll need to bring them out. Yeah, the gazelles are well behaved, so they're allowed to stay inside. Come on guys, you have lost your Tootsie base privileges. And that actually reminds me, I forgot to name the elephants. So this elephant will be called Julie, and for the guy, we're gonna name him Abraham after Abraham Lincoln. Where did Jesse go? Oh no, I hope he didn't kill himself. No, no, no. Oh no, there he is. Oh, you scared me. You scared me so much. Okay, let's bring him up to safety. And I'm actually gonna attach him here just to be sure he doesn't run into the barbed wire. Now, as we've got a fair few animals without a home, it is high time to start building the zoo. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Louis, you silly boy. I don't want Louis to have the same fate as Louis the 16th. Stop messing about, you silly boy. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Yeah, these 2 deserve their names. You are 2 very silly anteaters. I'm not happy. Don't put yourself in danger like that. What am I gonna do with you? For making the first enclosure, we're gonna use some stone for the wall. So let's head down to the mine to get some. And right before I forget again, let's bring back this poor gorilla. Oh dear, she got in the boat. I don't want to accidentally hit her, but she's fairly large, so... Oh, okay, I got it. So as gorillas eat leaves, I think I'm gonna leave her with the elephants because otherwise she's just gonna end up eating my house. To get back to our new elephant friend, Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States, serving from 1861 until his assassination in 1865. He led the United States through the American Civil War, defeating the Confederate States and playing a major role in the abolition of slavery. He is seen to this day as one of the greatest presidents in American history. Now, for the floor of the kangaroo enclosure, I'd like to use some red sand, but I still haven't found a Badlands biome, although I did spot a desert, so there might be one nearby. Now, it's a bit annoying because some zombies spawn inside the base, but thankfully I've got Mary and Elizabeth to help me out. Now, I wonder, can I breed them? It would be cool if I had like a kangaroo army to protect me. They can be bred with a dead bush or grass, so that shouldn't be too complicated. Okay. Oh, this is so cute. So the baby will be named after Jeanne d'Arc, but to make it easier for myself, I'm gonna say Jane. And now, off to the desert we go. So if you're wondering who is Jeanne d'Arc, basically she is one of the coolest women of all time, at least in my view. In 1429, a young girl of peasant origin claimed that she had received from several saints the mission to deliver France from English occupation. She managed to meet Charles VII and victoriously led the French troops against the English armies. She helped lift the siege of Orléans and led the king to his coronation in Reims, therefore helping to reverse the course of the 100 Years' War. Sadly, Jeanne d'Arc was captured and sold to the English, who burnt her at the stake for heresy. When I arrived at the desert, I noticed there was a small Badlands biome, as well as a desert village. There were these sort of sandstorm mobs everywhere, so I carefully made it over to the village and started looting the homes. I was getting some stuff at the market when suddenly one of these sandstorm thingies picked me up and sent me flying in the air. So as bravery is my strong point, I hid inside a village house and let the iron golems take care of him. I managed to get a nice amount of books for enchanting, and later on in the afternoon I noticed a Komodo dragon was being sent in the air by the annoying storm mobs, so I guess they like to annoy everybody. I went over to the Badlands and met up with a bunch of emus and kangaroos, and I also noticed a desert temple in the distance, but I decided to go to bed first as there was a thunderstorm. I was lovingly woken up by this zombie holding an emu egg, and today we shall explore the desert temple to try and get some good loot. I said hello to this funny looking bird with blue feathers and sneaked past the sandstorm creatures so that they wouldn't come to bother me. At the temple, I deactivated the TNT trap, and I was delighted to find a whole load of bones and string in the chests. I went back to the Badlands to start collecting sand, and I thought it could be nice to get another pet kangaroo to help me get rid of zombies. So this guy will be called Cimet, which means cinnamon in Croatian, and the person that suggested this name said it also came from Old Hungarian. Once I had collected enough sand, I headed back, but I had to leave Cimet because I didn't have any leads on me. After dropping off my stuff, I took the leads from Julie and Abraham and headed back to get Cimet. He was patiently waiting for me, so I attached him to a lead and we sailed home. The naughty elephants were already munching on all the leaves they could lay their trunks on, so I got them back on a lead before they would wander off too far. I got 2 extra leads from this wandering trader, but as I was trying to save the llamas, they were just spitting everywhere, and I think Cimet got a bit fed up of it. After a good night's sleep, I decided to bring Cimet and Elizabeth with me so that they could see the construction of their future home. And now it's time to fill in the whole floor with red sand. Just a side note, if any of you guys enjoy the videos and you'd like to show your support for the channel, I have opened a members subscription, which allows you to have access to special badges, and your username will be listed on my main channel page. On top of that, I will see your comments in priority, and the amazing artist Sakura Haru has made these these lovely custom stickers you can use in the comments section as well. So you should definitely check out her Instagram page, and I will put the link in the description below. So first I need to farm some of our precious potatoes to be sure we have plenty to eat. And I have of course forgotten to collect acacia saplings, so we need to sail all the way back to the savannah to chop down a bunch of trees for saplings. I actually got some acacia blossoms from the leaves that we can use to tame the elephants. So as soon as I arrived back at base, I fed a couple blossoms to Julie, and indeed, she was tamed. So I had a bit of fun riding her around the place. I also tamed Mr. Abraham, and the next morning I had the brilliant idea of dressing up Julie with a red carpet, and she looked like a fairly ridiculous strawberry, so I had to leave her like that. I put a chest on Abraham in case we went out collecting materials, and I feel at the same time this will help me know who is who. I went back to the Badlands to dig up some extra red sand, and when we got back, I was able to complete the floor of the kangaroo habitat. On day 49, I planted a couple acacia trees and dead bushes as decorations, and I also added some leaves for making bushes to fill up the area. Using some acacia wood, I made these sort of dead, fallen over trees to add to the dry feel of the place. I also collected some ferns that I planted here and there, and I also added some andesite, stone, and cobblestone for contrast. Finally, I dug out a little pond for the animals to drink from and placed some hay bales for food. I then worked on the wall going all the way round, so I alternated between full blocks and slabs to have different levels for a more rugged and natural look. I then took Mr. Abraham out with me to collect some obsidian, and we made it back later in the evening. So we're gonna use this obsidian to make a portal. Like that, we can collect some bone blocks to not have to worry about bone meal. On day 51, I was able to bone meal the grass and ferns in the enclosure, and then I welcomed Simmet and Elizabeth in their new home. So I feel like this could be an Australian animal enclosure, so we can welcome Martin and Rosa in as well. And I got 2 babies from hatching eggs that will name Cleopatra and Nefertari after 2 Egyptian queens. And also, Nefertari is a name that was suggested to me in the comments. I noticed that Louis had once again gotten out of the base. I mean, this guy is really naughty. He's always looking for trouble for some reason. But yeah, we are finally done with the first zoo enclosure. Now, I'd like to add a bit of farmland on the sides of the base here. So after adding water, I hoed down the dirt and planted a couple crops on top. As we'll be doing a lot of terraforming from now on, I really need to upgrade my tools and start enchanting. I headed down to the mine and started making my way to diamond level. I got some extra iron, and I also found a zombie spawner, which would be perfect for farming levels. Now, let's learn a bit about Cleopatra and Nefertari. Nefertari's name means beautiful companion, and she was one of the most celebrated queens of ancient Egypt, as well as the favorite wife of Pharaoh Ramses II. Cleopatra, on the other hand, ruled Egypt between 51 and 30 BC with her brothers that were also her husbands. Yes, it's a bit weird, but let's not ask too many questions. She later ruled alongside the Roman general Mark Antony, and she is famous for having been the companion of Julius Caesar and then Mark Antony, with whom she had several children. Cleopatra was an intelligent leader who excelled at politics, diplomacy, communications, and building strategic alliances. So I found 2 diamonds, and then soon after I found another vein, but I didn't mind them because I first wanted to get Fortune 3 on my pickaxe. I headed back up to craft an enchanting table, and then I took Julie out to get some wood, although I had to first get rid of a fair few zombies. I chopped down an entire jungle tree, and by the way, when I'm riding an elephant, the zombies can't hit me, so that's quite practical. There was another zombie ambush, but every single guy was riding a horse, so it really wasn't scary because of how slow they were going. After crafting all the bookshelves, I set up an enchanting area on the second floor of my house and enchanted my diamond pickaxe with Fortune 3. I then went back to mine the diamonds, and I also found a second large diamond vein, which enabled me to craft a diamond axe, a shovel, as well as a chest plate. I need to get efficiency for the shovel, so I went over over to the zombie spawner to farm them for levels. I managed to get unbreaking alongside efficiency, which will be perfect for terraforming. Let's get on to digging up the area where the next habitat will be. Now, to get back in the zombie theme, Frankenstein is an 1818 Gothic novel written by English author Mary Shelley. It tells the story of Victor Frankenstein, a young scientist who creates a sapient creature in a scientific experiment that involved putting it together with different body parts. Horrified by the hideous appearance of the being he had brought to life, Frankenstein abandons his monster, but the latter, gifted with intelligence, eventually takes revenge for having been rejected by his creator and persecuted by society. Shelley started writing the story when she was 18, and the first edition was published anonymously when she was just 20. Her decision to publish Frankenstein anonymously was largely due to societal prejudices against female writers and a fear of judgment for the novel's gruesome content. By remaining anonymous, she aimed to ensure her work was evaluated based on its own merits rather than her identity as a woman. Okay, so the area is finally cleared up, and for the enclosure fence, I'd like to use a mix of acacia logs, stone bricks, and glass. So for that, I need to grow and chop down a bunch of acacia trees, and of course, I had to be bothered by a zombie attack. I mean, 50% of this video is just me killing zombies, which makes building the zoo even more time-consuming. But yeah, let's start building this fence. Now, I thought I had a super smart idea, just growing acacia trees where the columns should be, but I still had to chop down the top part and remove all the leaves, so it wasn't really great. And of course, I was bothered once again by a zombie gang. Like, why on earth did I decide to build a zoo during a zombie apocalypse? I mean, I'm really good at getting terrible ideas. Oh, and one of them killed Jane, so that was pretty disappointing. That afternoon, I continued working on the fence, using some bricks to fill up the parts that were along the dirt wall. I also removed the stone that was on the ground to replace it with dirt so that grass could then spread on it. I then got back to work with a bit of music. Cheeky Louie had once again wandered out of the base. I mean, at this point, I'm used to it, so I won't even tell him off. I'm done with the walls, so we've got a nice spacious area for creating the African animal habitat. Next off, let's head back to the savannah, and I'm gonna chop down some more trees because I'm planning on building some custom ones. I actually found a cute friend for Jonathan, and we'll name him Sully. We also need to collect some acacia leaves for the custom trees, and I found this random red mushroom, so I took it in case I'll use it for later habitats. And of course, you can't have a good day during a zombie apocalypse without being ambushed while you're minding your own business, so I took Sully with me and we sailed away from the zombies. I spotted some rhinos, so I went ashore to attach one to a lead. So this big girl will be Juniper, and I admit I was super scared Juniper would hit me like Jessie had done, so I did my best not to bump into her on the way back. Like, I was super careful, so I detached Jonathan to quickly attach her to the fence, but just with that, she still had a chance to smack me in the bottom, so I have to be wary around these rhinos. Oh, and when I brought Sully in with Jonathan, the latter decided to walk out to make things as tricky as possible for his mum. And then I thought, why not bring in the gorilla as well? And when I opened the fence, Jonathan once again decided to walk out. I think I forgot to name the gorilla, so she will be Cooper. I know I haven't started decorating yet, but I'm still gonna bring Abraham and Julie in the enclosure, like that they can keep me company. And guess what? The elephants actually protect me from zombies, which is really cool. So I tried breeding the pair with acacia blossoms, and apart from some elephant snogging, not much happened. I also went to breed the kangaroos, and after punching a zombie around, they happily had a baby that we'll name after Agatha Christie. So for the custom trees, first First of all, they need to be very tall because my gluttonous elephants will eat all the leaves. And I originally wanted to say gourmand because this French word is perfect to describe them. To change up a bit from regular acacia trees, we're actually going to make a huge baobab, so it's going to have a really large trunk. The baobab tree generally grows quite sparsely. It has a rounded trunk and soft, waterlogged wood, hence the name bottle tree. With its characteristic appearance, it is generally very massive and can reach 25 meters in height and 5 to 7 meters in diameter. I chopped down a bunch more acacia trees to build a second baobab and was attacked by my favorite mobs yet again, but Julie and Abraham were a great help. At one point, a zombie started attacking Julie, and I panicked so bad because I didn't want to lose another animal after what happened to Jane. I realized it would be best to walk away from the zombies to minimize the risk. Instead, I lured them all into the barbed wire that was surrounding my base, and that was that. I tried breeding the elephants again, but after some intense headbutting, there still was no baby in sight. I resolved to continue building the second tree trunk, and did you know that baobabs can live for thousands of years, and as they store large quantities of water, it enables them to produce nutritious fruit even in the driest years. This is why the baobab tree is also known as the tree of life. And here is the Tootsie version of the baobab tree. To be fair, I think I put a few too many leaves at the top, but I still feel they look pretty nice, so I'll just leave them like that. Next, let's spread a whole load of grass all around the enclosure, and I tried breeding the elephants yet again, but was unsuccessful, so I guess it is what it is. I even looked on the wiki, and it just says you need to feed 2 tamed elephants acacia blossoms, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing wrong. To fill in the gaps between the 2 main trees, we will actually grow some regular acacia trees, but they need to be elevated a couple blocks off the ground to be sure the elephants can't reach the leaves. And I mean, anyway, the acacia trees look quite nice elevated, and they blend in better with the 2 other really tall trees. Next, the African animals will need to drink, so let's make a large pond in the center here. For food, I put some stacks of hay bales, but the elephants eat these as well, so they won't last very long. I made a little entrance on the side to easily get in and out, and then I headed down to the zombie spawner to collect a bunch of mossy cobblestone. I also collected some extra stone, and will be using it to make some large rocks all around the habitat to contrast a bit with the overall green of the vegetation. I added some sugarcane around the pond and some lily pads in the water for detail. Now we also need to start working on the path around the enclosures, so I'm first removing the grass with some water, and then we can turn the dirt into path blocks with a shovel. On day 73, I attached Lucy and Kalina to a lead and brought them in their new home. I also went to get Sully and Jonathan, and this time around, Cooper decided to annoy her mum by walking out of the pen. I brought the boys in their new home, and they seemed quite happy with it. Now, for the fun part, let's bring the rhinos. So I took them one by one because if they both hit me at once, it'll be the end of Tootsie and her zombie apocalypse zoo. I mean, just to be able to pick up the leads, I had to do an entire detour. These guys are a fair bit of work to be around. I finished off the day by working on the pathway, going around the kangaroo and emu habitat, and then on day 74, it was time to start working on the 3rd enclosure. The wandering trader spawned, so sneaky Tootsie placed a barbed wire at his feet so that the llamas wouldn't know that I was the one to kill their master, and I was able to attach them to the fence without them spitting at me. So this is going to be a jungle enclosure with animals from South America like the anteaters and capuchin monkeys, Africa for the gorilla, and Asia for the tiger. That night, I went down to the mine and collected some gravel that we'll be using for the path and enclosures, as well as a diamond vein. I crafted myself a second axe that I enchanted with efficiency 4, and I also repaired my shovel with a couple diamonds. I continued clearing out the area for the 3rd habitat, and I spotted Agatha exploring the area, and I couldn't tell her to come with me because she wasn't tamed yet. I was able to chop down this jungle tree really quickly with my new axe, and I wasted another 5 minutes just hitting zombies that had come to bother me. The next morning, I went to tame Agatha with some carrots, and I brought her back to the base to breed her, and I'm so sorry guys, but I think I bred her with her mother. Whoopsie. To change the subject, let's name the new baby Leo. So I started making the wall going all the way around using the jungle logs I'd collected, and then I continued clearing out all the dirt in the center. Agatha Christie was an English author known for her many detective novels and short story collections, particularly those revolving around fictional detectives Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple. She is widely regarded as one of the greatest writers, especially in the mystery genre. She is also by far the most translated author in the world. In 1971, she was made a dame by Queen Elizabeth II for her contributions to literature. So I was chopping down this tree and getting rid of the zombies at the bottom when I spotted this tiger hiding in the bamboo forest. So I guess he'll be easy enough to bring into the jungle habitat. I placed down a whole load of jungle logs to continue the wall, and I mean, this is a really big enclosure, so it's probably gonna take ages to finish. I hesitated between doing loads of small and basic enclosures for each animal, but I thought it could be cooler to have larger enclosures with different custom biomes and more details. That night, I went strip mining again and found 2 diamond veins not far from each other, so I was able to craft the 3 missing pieces for my diamond armor set, and I crafted a new bow that I enchanted with infinity. So yeah, we are finally full diamond, guys. I know it took some time, but I probably bit off more than I can chew with this project. Like, there is so much to be done. I took Napoleon out for a ride, and I chopped down some more logs to be able to finish off the enclosure wall. Exactly like I had done for the base wall, I added different levels with jungle slabs and trapdoors, and I also shoveled down the grass nearby to extend the pathway. I covered some of the visible stone with dirt to make a small hill, and I mined the rest of the stone on the ground to replace it entirely with dirt so that the grass could spread on top. I was heading over to remove the remaining stone on the floor, but I got interrupted once more by the zombies, and I mean, you should definitely invite these guys if you're having a surprise birthday party, because I never expect them to appear out of nowhere. After having wasted another chunk of my day getting rid of these lovely guys, I took Napoleon with me to gather up some wood, and just in case I hadn't wasted enough time with the morning zombies, I got a second group at the bottom of my tree. I kind of feel like I should have named this video 100 Days Killing Zombies Non-Stop. That evening, I made a little staircase leading up to the base from the savannah enclosure, and then on day 81, I enchanted my chest plate with protection 4 and moved on to adding detail to the path. So instead of having a plain pathway, we're gonna make little holes everywhere, and we'll fill them in with cobblestone, oak slabs, coarse dirt, and gravel, which will add a variety of different colors and textures. I finished off the day removing the last parts with stone in the jungle enclosure and filling them back up with dirt. I stripped some of the jungle log columns to spruce up the wall a bit, and I also made a little pond at the lowest level of the habitat for the animals to drink and swim around in for fun. I collected some bamboo shoots as well as rotten flesh at the same time, and I planted loads at the back of the enclosure to make a dense bamboo forest. I suddenly noticed that Leo had jumped out of the base and straight into the barbed wire, so I rushed to get him out. Yeah, these animals are very good at stressing poor Tootsie out. I fed Leo some carrots to hopefully get his health back up, and I brought him in the Australian enclosure so that he would be safe with his friends. And now let's bring the 2 naughtiest anteaters over to their new home, and I guess they brought some friends with them as well. On day 83, I went to chop down another jungle tree, and there was this random zombie horse just staring at me. It was quite a unique moment. I have this weird habit of giving facts on the Amazon rainforest each time I chop down too many jungle trees, so there it goes. The Amazon represents over half of the total area of remaining rainforests on Earth and includes the largest and most biodiverse tract of tropical rainforest, with an estimated 390 billion individual trees and about 16,000 species. Now, instead of just growing some regular Minecraft trees, we're going to build one from scratch. This enables us to have more freedom in the overall look of the tree, and it will also contrast with the jungle biome that's right behind, rather than having the enclosure blending in too much. So we're making a really tall tree trunk with branches sticking out all along, smaller ones at the bottom, and then we can gradually extend them as we approach the top, as if their growth had been impacted by the extra sunlight they receive. And finally, we need to cover each branch with some jungle leaves, and I added a couple underneath to make this dropping effect. So there we have it. The first custom jungle tree is done, and it looks a bit like a mangrove tree for some reason, but I'm still quite happy with it. Next off, let's add loads of grass across the bamboo forest, and then we can build a second jungle tree. To the overgrown effect, I collected some vines to add here and there, and I also went to get Mrs. Cooper to bring her into the enclosure. I started building some large rocks using a mix of different types of stone, and I added a little stream of water coming out of it that flows down to the pond. I accidentally hit Louis with my shovel, and he started acting all strange, like I thought he wanted to have a makeup hug, but when I went to hug him, he started slapping me across the face, so I think it's best if I give him some space. I worked on a second large rock and then sailed back to the mangrove swamp to collect a bunch of lily pads for decorating the pond. On my way back, I picked up 2 capuchin monkeys that we'll name William and Gandhi, and when we passed by the tiger again, I noticed his eyes had become red and he was almost invisible, slowly creeping towards us. I suddenly realized he was coming for the capuchin monkeys, so I rushed off in a panic. On the way home, I stopped to pick up this aquatic bouncing gorilla that we'll name Ashley. Don't ask me why Ashley was doing the robot. I mean, between breakdancing, slow dancing, and doing the robot, I noticed Minecraft mobs do enjoy a little jig. So I went to get the ancient dart I'd found in the jungle temple, and I gave it to Gandhi because apparently he can throw it when attacking other mobs, but for some reason it didn't work, and he was just throwing regular cobblestone. To decorate the pond, I added some sand all along the bank, as well as sugarcane and lily pads in the water. And I've got to say, this is my favorite enclosure. It's really wild and cozy. So I'd like to get a tiger inside, but he's just gonna attack the capuchin monkeys, so I decided I would bring them both up in the trees. Oh, and just look at the crazy timing of this next part. I was about to bring William up in the tree, and the tiger we had seen came out of nowhere, so it was such a chaotic situation. But to look on the bright side, it was timed perfectly and could have ended way worse. The next morning, I was a bit scared of getting down now that the tiger was around, so I made a sprint over to the entrance. I got my dailies on the ambush, and I also noticed that Ashley was eating my bamboo forest, so hopefully I planted enough to still have a couple left by the end of the video. I threw a bit of meat at the tiger to try taming it, but he couldn't care less about it. I then decided it would be nice to bring back a Komodo dragon, so I went to find one I had spotted in the beginning and attempted to feed him rotten flesh, but all he did was bite me and I couldn't feed him a single piece. So before you guys write anything in the comments, I looked it up and apparently it's a bug in the 1.20.1 version of the mod. Like, for some reason you can't feed the Komodo dragon, so it is what it is, and we won't be able to bring this guy back to the zoo because he's just gonna kill us straight away. I repaired my shovel and set to work on the next enclosure, which will have a large pool in the center for the sea lions to swim in. Now, to get back on Gandhi, he was a leader of India's independence movement. When India was a colony of Great Britain, Gandhi used non-violent methods to protest against British rule. His efforts earned him the title Mahatma, which means great soul. I started filling in the sides of the enclosure with sand to make a sort of beach, and then we can fill in the whole pool in the center. For the fence, I'm using a mix of jungle leaves, fences, and logs with slabs on top. We can also replace the dirt wall on the sides of the enclosure with stone to make it look a bit nicer. As we don't have that much time left, I'm also going to start working on another enclosure at the same time for any other animals we are able to bring back. I used a mix of stone bricks and jungle leaves to make this sort of hedge all around. I filled up 2 separate ponds, and then I used some stone to build 2 mountains with some dirt at the top. So by the way, India won its independence in 1947. It was a great victory for Gandhi, but he was disappointed because India's land was divided into 2 new countries, India and Pakistan. Before and after India's division, the country was torn by clashes between Hindus and Muslims. Gandhi tried to make peace, but in January 1948, he was shot and killed by a Hindu man in the city of Delhi. I planted some dark oak trees to collect the logs, and I also chopped down some more jungle logs because we are going to use them to make some trees in the last 2 enclosures. So first off, let's make a couple palm trees. And then we can make a custom dark oak tree. Now, the enclosures are almost done, so let's go get a couple animals. I decided to get this wolf couple named Uno and Mochi, as well as 2 raccoons named Max and Steve, and this funny little turtle we'll name Sammy. So bringing back 100 animals all at once can get quite tricky. Like, first off, this llama was attacking the wolves, and then I had to deal with zombies, which was a bit tricky. And finally, I went to get 2 sea lions, so as you can imagine, the trip home was quite something. I struggled to bring all the animals in their respective enclosures, doing my best to avoid the zombies, and I had the smart idea of bringing in the llamas to live with the wolves, so that was another Tootsie panic moment, but thankfully no one was hurt, apart from this cow, I guess. Now that all the enclosures are done, it's time to fully focus on making the pathways all around, so as we have a lot to do and it'll be quite repetitive, let's have one last fact. During his lifetime, William Shakespeare wrote around 37 plays for the theatre and over 150 poems. No one can say the exact number because some of his works may have been lost over time and some might have been written with the help of other people. William was born in Stratford-upon-Avon in 1564, and let's see if you followed the facts well in this video. Who was the Queen of England at the time? If you remembered, it was Elizabeth I, I'd like to say well done, and I really hope you learned a bit from watching this video. Now, day 100 will actually be renamed the Tootsie bonus because I've spent ages building this zoo, and I really want to finish all the last details, like adding some nice pathways, and maybe a couple extra decorations in the enclosures. So yeah, I maybe went a little bit over 100 days, but I mean, with all the time I lost getting rid of the thousands of zombies, I think it should be normal to have a bit of extra time to finish my project and have a really nice final result rather than a rushed one. So there we are, guys. We have spent 100 days building a zoo during a zombie apocalypse, and both the animals and the zombies have kept me quite busy throughout this journey. If you enjoyed the video and you would like to see more projects like this, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to support the channel. By the way, you can tell me in the comments if there's a project you would love to see on this channel, and also I would like to know which enclosure was your favorite. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Love you!